All right, today we're talking to Lynn Siverts, who is the head of Parks and Rec at the Village of Corrales, and we're out by Liam's Pond. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Liam's Pond and when it was put in and what the effort was, and a little bit about from Lynn about how it fits in with the rec center's overall plan. So when do you think this was put in, Lynn?
Around 2000.
Around 2000?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Liam, who is my son, died in an accident in 1999. And so the village came together, a bunch of our friends and other villagers came together and raised some money and came out here in mass. I think it was about, 60 people out here when we started putting in. So people donated to dig the pond out. It was originally an Evelyn Losack idea, but nobody had the money to do it. So when Liam passed away, we raised the money. We had a guy come in with the backhoe, was it?
A front end loader.
Yeah, a front end loader, and dug the whole thing out. And then we put bentonite down to keep the water from going into the water table. And then Rocky Mountain Stone donated a bunch of rocks to line the pond with. His trucker donated the time and the trucks to haul them over here. The forklift driver donated his time and his forklift to pick them up and bring them over here. And we had about 60, 80 people who, during the course of one day, lined the entire pond with Rocky Mountain's travertine. We were travertine seconds. So he donated like 4 truckloads of them. So, and then we filled the pond up. And why don't you talk a little bit about what happened after that?
Well, so what this was, I mean, this area that we're looking at right here, this was a retention pond. Because remember, it went all the way from here, all the way down to the parking lot.
Right.
We didn't really need that much for drainage because truly, if the rainwater is on my grass, it's good. It didn't make any difference, so we decided we were going to kind of make this area over here a little bigger, add more athletic space, but in doing so, we needed dirt, so we were just like, well, we can dig this out deeper, and so we started, and yes, what you said, I mean, it just worked out. It just, the timing of everything just worked out perfect. It took care of quite a few different things at the same time, and we just dug down deep until we hit the water table. Yeah, and that's where we stopped. So I mean, it was.
And you can't go any deeper than that.
No, we had to fill in some.
Right.
I mean, because we didn't want all the water to just
keep going.
Keep going, yeah. So the bentonite worked really well, and it's still working today. I mean, this pond doesn't have a liner, and it's holding up really good.
Well, tell us about what you put down at the bottom of the pond for fishing, and how you arranged with the fish and game wildlife.
Okay, so the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish, they did get involved with this because they thought this was kind of a neat idea. Because of the way we did this, it'd be really, really easy to do kids fishing clinics in a safe way. So Paul Cassidy and then Ty Piper kind of got involved with our planning of all this. And we ended up putting some concrete culverts in the very middle to try to help keep it where they could get into cooler spaces in the summer.
Right.
I think we have 6 of those down in the middle. We have a fish, Charlie's Sporting Goods actually donated a fish habitat.
Right.
That we put in kind of over by the dock over there.
I remember that.
It's a 4x4 thing, looks like a bunch of pallets put together, but it's made out of recycled fishing line.
Right.
So that's kind of neat. And then we also did leave like kind of a boat ramp in case we do have to get in here for something.
Right, that was over here in case you need to bring heavy equipment into here. You could ramp it down, and it's also important to notice that it goes out to the depth of the water here about 6-8 feet out.
10 feet.
10 feet out.
Yeah, we went 10
it's
feet.
only about 3 feet.
Well, not even. It's like 2.5 feet. So if a kid falls in,
and then it drops down. So we had if somebody falls, if a kid falls in here, he's not going to fall down into the bottom.
Yeah. No. And we are getting. I mean, the Game and Fish is really doing a really good job with us as far as we now are on their schedule to get us stocked with. In the summer, it's catfish. This summer we had about, I think it was close to 800 pounds of catfish was delivered out here. And they're pretty decent sized catfish.
Yeah.
And right now they are doing stocking trout.
stocking trout.
Yeah, they are stocking trout for us. For a little while with the COVID, we asked them not to do it because when they were putting in their fishing reports, we didn't want to promote people coming here. People were going to come here. We were okay with it, but we weren't putting anything out there to draw people to it. But now that we've kind of eased our restrictions with the rec center, they are back to stocking this, and probably that will stop at the end of this month because it starts to get a little warm and trout don't do very well in the summer.
But that's one of the reasons why we got it. You got it way deep in the middle, so that in the summertime the trout will go down where the water's cooler, and you still have it. But if I remember right, some of your buddies went down to when we put this in. Some of your buddies went down to the Rio Grande, caught some little catfish about that big, and threw them in here. And 10 years later, what a kid pulled one out that was 20 pounds.
Yeah, 20 pounds was cut. I mean, and last year I think someone showed me a picture of a 16-pounder that was almost. I mean, it was easily that tall, but it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But we do have bass in here too, and bluegill, and the bass have done really, really well.
Really?
Yeah, and so our bass kind of stocking methods. Paul Cassidy, his aquatic consultants, when Cabela's does the fishing things at their store, they bring in these portable pools.
Right.
And they put the fish in them so kids can actually fish in them.
Right.
When they're done with that event, they call me and say, "Can I bring you the bass?" And so we usually, every time they do one of those clinics at Cabela's, we usually end up getting about 100 leftover 100 bass about every single time.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then how many clinics do you have a year, do you think?
Well, so we do a huge one with the Game and Fish every year on the first Saturday of June. The Game and Fish, we had to cancel it this year.
Right.
But we do a huge fishing event here, which takes up pretty much this whole back field.
Right. We were there last year where they had hunting and tomahawk throwing and a little pellet rifle range.
Yeah, they had everything. And I mean, honestly, when everybody was in here fishing, I think I handed out popsicles that day, the Otter Pops. And I mean, I went through 3 boxes just with people in here.
Wow.
So that's
a
close
lot.
to 300 people.
Yeah,
so,
it was packed here that day. And that's a big event.
Yeah, I think
every year.
Total, we had close to 500 people here. And that was just the first time we ever did that kind of thing. So, youth fishing clinics, so we haven't done those in a while, but we talked about doing one last year, but then again,
COVID. This is how COVID has affected everything around here.
Yeah, we really recreation-wise haven't done anything this year.
Yeah, it's kind of been dead all over.
We did the pool, but it was not the pool. Yeah, but over the years, I mean, it's just been neat. This pond does do a very, very good job of just reproducing its own fish. I mean, every year if you come in here in the early spring, right before summer, you can just see millions of tadpoles and millions of little bit minnows, and so it's done really well.
So it's like a living entity unto itself.
Yeah, and the water quality is just really good. I mean, year round here. I mean, the water temperature in the summer does get warm because it's New Mexico, and that's about the only bad thing we have going on here. Just the stuff we offer here, you will not find anywhere else. You have a pond, an arena, volleyball, bocce, tons of beautiful athletic fields. Yeah. Skate park, basketball, tennis.
Yeah, we've got an all-round rec center here, which was
all in one spot.
All in one spot.
So you don't usually get that. City of Rio Rancho, you got to drive around to 6 parks.
That's right.
But it was funny. I mean, I'm working up at Rio Rancho Parks and Rec, and I'm doing registration for our sports camp. And this guy comes up to do registration. His name was Scott Siverts. Came up to sign up his kids for the program, and I was doing the registration, and that was a big deal. You had to stand in line like almost overnight to get into this program. And so he got there and he just comes up and me and him started talking about everything. And he's just like, "Oh my gosh, you'd be perfect for Corrales." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We're going to get a rec center. I want you to apply."
Scott was one of Scott and the Cheneys, a few other people, one of the people that spearheaded buying the land from the Joneses, because she cut a good deal to try to buy all of this land and turn it into a rec center.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I became here. I mean, it was just Scott Siverts just saying, "Hey, I would like you to come and apply." And at the time, I mean, with everything here, I mean, it was kind of an interesting job for anybody. But the problem, you're by yourself. I mean, when I was hired on here, it was just me.
Right.
I mean, I was mowing, lifeguarding, teaching swim lessons, and cleaning. I mean, I did everything. So for someone who actually had a lot of experience in recreation, this wouldn't have been ideal because it's a lot of work. I mean, I have to do all the irrigation work.
Right.
And it's just with the background I came from. I mean, I was around pools my whole entire life. sports are my whole entire life, and I mean, it's just landscaping. I did landscaping everywhere in Colorado, so it was awesome.
It worked out well. The right person in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So I mean, it really worked out. I mean, it's funny.
Yeah. So here at the rec center, we have go over all the things you can do here. We've got the pond here, and over there we have the arena.
Yeah, we have a horse arena with a round pin, and I mean it's 150 by 250, so it's actual competition size. I mean, we don't do many of that stuff, but we can. I mean, we're ready for it. So our athletic fields, which soccer, we have a contract with them that pretty much takes up the year with that. So other youth sports are allowed to be here, but soccer's got the priority.
Right.
Then we have our sand volleyball court, which actually, that sand was donated by an elementary school, APS. This guy that I do a lot of work with here, he was putting in a new playground for APS. They need to get rid of the sand. So he called me and said, could I use the sand? And they'll deliver it. So we got the sand for free, the volleyball court. I mean, that wasn't hard. We had some of that stuff already. The bocce, the Village of the Village, put that in. I mean, so then the gym and the pool, those were actually state and county kind of funded projects. The basketball courts, a lot of that came from, where did that come from?
That was grants, wasn't it? They did a grant for it.
Well, I think the village paid for that.
That could be.
We paid for that. The skate park was a bunch of volunteer.
The skate park was funded by volunteers that raised the funds for it.
Yeah, and then the tennis courts actually was citizens that did that. The front field, I mean, that used to be flood irrigated. We put in the most unbelievable irrigation system there.
Yeah.
I just so wish I would have done it with the old version where I could have hooked up, had every sprinkler going at the same time. I can't do that there.
Yeah.
Because I use the new. But in all the trees that we have here, I mean, the village has hardly paid for any of them. Yeah. I mean, the fruit trees, those were given to us by P&M because they had to take out our elm trees that were on the fence line.
Right.
Which they did us a favor, but then they gave me these trees to say, we're sorry we did that. And I'm like, you really did me a favor, though.
Yeah.
But we'll take the fruit trees.
Yeah. And it matches Corrales.
Yeah,
farming community.
The pine trees over here, those were donated actually by Tony Tafoya, the ones that go along that side. He just had some extras at his house, and he said, I want to get rid of them, so we put them in there. When we fill this, it waters that too.
Right.
So, I mean, every time we keep the pond full enough, it waters those great. The trees over, those are all memorial trees. So, yeah, the village really hasn't paid much for trees at all.
Right.
Now we're running out of space to put them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This poor tree is one I mowed over about 16 times. I finally made it. Because it was only like this big when we put it in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is the stone. Yeah. Fair amount of history here. Well, this has turned out to be a beautiful setup.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're getting the new gym soon.
Well, when are they going to do are they expanding this one then?
Yeah. Yeah, so the current gym will be a weight room, and then we'll put a full-size high school gym on the back.
Oh, really? Coming off this way?
Going back towards the truck.
Oh, okay. Where the parking lot is now?
Yep.
Wow.
So, I mean, we have a design kind of right now, but I did get the price on the budget. It was $3.5 million. I only have 2.5. So we're going to have to
wait.
We're just going to have to knock. It had some classrooms. We can get rid of those.
Right.
We can build those later.
Yeah.
I mean, just for right now, we just need a gym.
Right.
So.
But you have the gym we have now. You have normally you would have basketball in the winter and stuff like that in the summertime.
The summer, really, it's just open. We just have it open for the pickleball and anyone just going in to do open gym. I mean, summer, all of our staff is pretty much taken up with the pool.
Right.
But we have people that can oversee it, but we just don't do any programming in it. It's kind of just come and go.
Yeah.
But when we do the new gym, I mean, what it'll be families have to get family memberships, and they could use the pool. They could use the pool, the weight room, and the gym with what we have scheduled in there. Because we could have it where we do. Over 40 basketball is big in there. I mean, we used to have senior exercise classes, the Tai Chi and yoga, but this year we haven't, it's a vaccination site.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's we were, everything's becoming a vaccine. Anywhere where you can get a lot of people in there becomes a vaccination site.
So it's done really well though.
So that's good.
So-
That's good. Multi-purpose, which is what it was supposed to be anyway.
It's multi-purpose. Yes, it is. But what do you think makes Corrales different than anything else out there? You've been to Rio Rancho. You live in Rio Rancho. Like, what makes Corrales Corrales in your mind? Well, okay, in working here the 24 years, I mean, work their tails off to make sure things happen in this town.
Yeah.
Special event-wise, it's the whole town coming together to put together a harvest festival, put together the 4th of July parade. So, I mean, here it's just the whole community will come together, work together. This pond's a great example with the amount of people that showed up to
put it in.
to really work their tails off
Yeah.
to get something in. And people care in this town, care about each other, care about what's being provided for them. Where, you know, I haven't seen that many other places. I mean,
No.
I know Rio Rancho, and I came from Colorado. I never saw what I see going on here. So it's a really
that's
neat.
one of the unique things about Corrales is that it is truly a community where people come together and take care of one another.
That they do. So, I mean, as far as you finding another place, you can go anywhere and you'll see what you're looking for. I mean, because this town really does care about the town.